So we're here today at Irish Nationals 2023 with Jakob. What did you do today?
I went top 8 at Irish Nationals playing Purrely.
Playing Purrely, cool. We'll probably do shoutouts and stuff at the end, but if you want to start kicking off in the profile, if there's anything interesting you want to talk about before we start, I guess.
I mean, I chose the deck because it's really hard to choose a deck for a format where there's like 10 decks that can be good and nobody knows what the meta is.
Fair.
So I kind of wanted a deck that I felt could do well into everything. But
Okay.
I also wanted a deck that people wouldn't be too familiar playing against. So I considered Cash. I think Cash is the best deck of the format, but everybody knows how to play against Cash.
That's true.
People
yeah.
do not know what the Purrely cards do, which just gives you win.
Yeah, and if you do, it gives you a huge advantage.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, let's kick it off.
Right.
We'll start with main deck, obviously enough.
Yep.
And your lovely little field center over on the side as well.
Yep. Cool.
Which we shall
So yep.
take a look at.
Bonus field center.
That's awesome.
I'd give a shout out to the guy on Etsy that made it for me, but I don't remember.
I assume it's pretty
French.
patches, is it? No.
I don't remember. French person on Etsy.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
No worries. Recommend. Shout out to the random Etsy person.
Shout out to the random Etsy person for working with me on this one.
Cool.
Cool. Then we've got main deck.
Cards to face me, please.
Yes.
Cool.
3 Purrely.
Nice.
3 of this. It's not hard ones per turn, so this is what forces the opponent to play stuff. So you always go through 3. 2 Lily. It's not that good to draw, and
it's not hard. It's a soft one.
it's a hard ones per turn.
Yeah.
It's a hard ones per turn. It's not that good to draw. You usually
Yeah.
want to summon it from the deck after you've forced your cards with this. And yeah, 5 normal summons felt good.
Yeah, fair.
6 is cloggy. Like if you draw 2 of this, it's completely dead. So 5 feels good. Yep. Then spells obviously is 3.
3 delicious, 3
3.
pretty,
3 of this.
3 sleepy. The
3
draw
of
one.
this. This is mandatory anyway. Like
Yeah, happy.
you would never not
Yeah.
play 12 of this.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Then we've got my friend 3. The third one often gets sided out.
Okay.
We were at 2 for a long time, but going first, the third one feels good because it fixes weird hands easily.
Okay.
It also makes it often possible to search leap with this. So the third one is nice going first. Going second, the third one usually goes out because going second, you're often just forcing their cards and then either decaying or making Zeus, which is amazing into many decks this format.
Oh yeah, I'd say so.
And then we have the 1 street and the 1 leap.
Okay, so you're on 1 field spell, 1
One
leap.
field
So
spell,
that I think is indicative of what draw engine you might be
Yes,
using.
we're
using.
not on Crystal Beasts. If
Yeah,
we switched between Crystal Beasts and other engines a lot. In the end, we ended up not playing Crystal Beasts because it doesn't have as much punch.
Okay.
And also the Darkwood engine, which is what we're playing, gives us more flexibility in the side deck. So yeah, 1 straight. If you're on Crystal Beasts, you play 3, of course. Leap, we considered 2. It feels good to see it first, but at the same time, it doesn't actually let you play the game.
Yeah.
So it also makes hands cloggy, so we ended up with 1. It's searchable
I see,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah, searchable anyway. So yeah, that's engine.
Cool.
I think this is pretty much non-controversial. You can play 2 here, you can play 2 here if you want. I think these ranges are very nice. Like we
I think
spent,
early in the format you kind of stick to 3s of
Yeah.
all the stuff that
Yeah.
makes sense until
yeah.
it gets refined a bit further.
We spent like the last 3 to 4 weeks theorycrafting this.
Oh,
Some
very
people
nice.
from my locals and testing group are gonna play it at Austrian Nats later.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I'm the guinea pig and it seemed to work quite well.
There you go.
Right, then we have Handtraps.
Nice.
So we were really scared of Super Heavy, which actually didn't perform that well. But the deck is incredibly scary if you're playing Purrely.
Yeah.
So we wanted Handtraps that actually on their own stop Super Heavy, because otherwise you always need 2 Handtraps. And even then they sometimes play through it. See, we wanted Handtraps that like stop the deck on their own. So we're playing 3 draw.
Nice.
This just forces them to end a Biguska.
Yep.
Then we play the 3 Gamma and the 1 Driver. Shout out to this guy who I drew twice in top 8 and lost.
Very
But yeah,
unfortunate.
this on the Link 1 forces them to have an engine extender. Like stealthy or one of the ones that summon themselves.
Which is
it's
only,
not-
I think it's only stealthy really.
well, they still have Vakoshi. Like you gamma them on the revive effect, and then they can Vakoshi, but it makes the line super awkward, and they don't end them nearly as much, so you can play through it because there is no way you're playing through the standard super heavy board in this deck. So that's all the matchups really, just the high pick ones.
Okay, fair.
We are on power spells.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So we obviously thought that cash was the best deck of the format, which I still think. So we wanted cards that make you not lose to your Rise Art. Thrust is just really good for this. 2 tactics. Steal their dude, make Zeus at the board. And then the 1 Herald of the Abyss. This is obviously for the mirror match.
I never even thought it makes sense with Trust. Sorry, I was looking at this earlier before you were putting it together today.
So you pay 1,500, you declare a monster type and attribute, and then your opponent is forced to send a monster they control with that type and attribute.
Yep.
Which means it's them sending it, so it doesn't trigger Purrely My Friend, it doesn't trigger straight Purrely Street.
Yep.
So you just call Dark Fairy and they have to send an alarm date plus. And also it also adds a Rise Heart. You just call Dark.
Did you ever have that used against you today playing in mirror?
Not in the mirror. Round 1 a branded player actually thrusted for this.
I'm curious because like it is, you can still play around it while making the Lily.
Second
right?
Lily, yes, but like I mean, yes, like if you can end on like a set memory, but like there's a lot of things that you can play around if you have enough gas, but often you just don't, especially going first. Like obviously, if your hand is like 4 memories and a discard, then it's cracked, but it won't be. So yeah,
cool.
six power spells. They're just really good, and like we used to be in 15 hand traps, but the power spells are especially good in like weird random game states that you get into.
Yeah.
You like random grindy game states, and you can just like top deck a tactics, and it's just amazing. The hand traps just don't have that impact. That's why we like this. Then discard engine.
So you like, I think by that logic, you're probably not using the Noir draw 3 kind of.
You sometimes draw 4.
Okay, just 4.
Going game 1. So draw 6 is pretty much impossible to set up with this unless you draw like a perfect hand because you don't have the field spell.
Yeah, okay.
So you sometimes draw 4, especially going first in game 1.
Yep.
Game 3 and 2 you usually don't because it's too greedy. It plays into Thrust, it plays into Kurikara, which actually didn't see that much play. They said the tables are played, but we thought it's a really good card because it also matches really well into Super Heavy, and it adds Kashtira.
Yep.
And yeah, it just plays into Thrust. So you want, like at some point you have to play into Thrust and into Kurikara, but you want them to commit stuff to the field, so you can go like Noir, detach, clear the board, and then if they have Kurikara, it's probably not enough to kill you.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of the thought process. In game 2 and game 3 we don't draw a lot. We actually go second in a lot of matchups, like Sprite for example, or the Mirror post-siding we just go second. Because the deck with 6 cards feels...
Lots of Zeuses.
Yeah, and the deck with 6 cards feels so much better than the deck with 5 cards.
Okay.
You can easily force stuff by threatening Beauty, and then at some point you just stumble into an OTK or you stumble into Zeus.
Okay.
And just clear the board. Like I played 2 Sprite matchups in Swiss. And all of those were just, you just play through the board because you do so much, and then you just let them go first, game 3, and they side out all of their floodgates anyway, and then they have like standard Sprite board, and you just play through it and Zeus them, and you win the game. I tried it in top 8. I would have won if Tactics had drawn me literally anything that wasn't a Dark World and a normal summon. Yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, speaking of.
No worries.
Yeah, discard engine. 1 brow, 3 snow. So there's a few options you can do for discard engines. You can obviously play the Crystal Beast package where you go 1 Eagle, 3 traps. 1, it plays another Garnet. We already draw Driver way too much.
Yeah.
2, it forces you to play 2 field spell, which also feels iffy.
Okay.
And it actually, like the field spell is good, but the field spell, you don't want to discard it, like you want to keep it. So that makes it weird. The second option is like you can play like 3 brow, 1 beast. We were on that for a while.
Sure.
Which is just like drawing into generic.
Oh, the Shadow Beast.
Yeah, 1 Shadow Beast and 3 brow. Idea being that you can draw into hand traps, power spells, generic cards. In the end, we ended up selling for this just because, I mean, it's +4.
It's small and useful, I think.
It's every single one of these is good. If you draw one of these 3, you're just feeling really good about yourself.
Yeah.
It's amazing going second because this makes all of your discard spells free, which means you can just keep forcing negates because every small Purrely is going to be forcing something. And then at some point you just make this. And you can't do that with the other engines.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's how many? One more card to
yes,
show.
one last card.
Yeah.
So this is 39. We're obviously in 40.
Yep.
So
I'll see it.
the deck sometimes struggles going first if you get hand trapped a lot.
Okay.
Or if your hands are awkward and you get stopped. Plus the deck struggles against them outing your Xyz monster, and they give you the follow-up from straight and from friend.
Yep.
But they just want to kill you this turn. So we wanted a generic card that both you can just put up and like skip their turn. So we ended up playing the one Daruma Cannon.
I love this card.
Yeah,
I think it's so good.
Idea being that it just turn skips practically every deck in the format. Like today I resolved it against Sprite. It won me the game. I resolved it against Cash. Won me the game. Resolved it against Trap Tricks. Won me the game.
Oh my god, yeah.
This card is just so good. And if you get hand trapped to the point where you can't really play, especially like Mourner on Lily or Imperm on Lily hurts.
Yeah.
On awkward hands. Or if you just get drolled and you can't really play, then you just don't commit and you just leave the Lily on the field. Like keep 1 or 2 cards in hand. You set this with Thrust. Just pass. And if they can't kill you, because this usually turn skips.
Yeah.
And if this turn skips, then you just flip some Lily, use effect, and you win the game from there. So yeah, definitely would play again. This is probably the best card in the deck this format. This tournament.
Cool. We're on to extra.
Flat 40 in the main.
Yeah.
You want to see Purrely memories, Purrely cards from Purrely Excavates. I think everything above 40 is incorrect. Right, extra deck. So, this right. 2 plump.
Yep, the best one. I think.
The best one. Yes.
By far.
I mean, it's the one that is just always good. Like this is never bad.
Which makes Delicious the best one as well.
Well, no, not really. Delicious is really the worst one because it's the hardest one to set up. I lost game 2 in top 8, for example, because I had to enormous summon Darkwold Snow.
Oh, okay.
Because you need a monster on the field to activate Delicious. Another reason why the deck feels a lot better going second than going first, because going second, your opponent's cards give you the necessary cards on the field to make all your memories live.
Okay.
Going first, it can be really awkward to make Delicious live, so you really want to like open Sleepy or Pretty.
Okay.
Because those you can just like Sleepy or Pretty hands are just infinitely better than the other ones. Also because they all play around draw, you can always like Sleepy or Pretty in the draw phase, and then they can't draw you on the ads.
Cool.
And then if you have that plus a dark roll, you're just like summon Purrely, add another memory, go another memory, summon Purrely. It's all free.
All stayed all in the draw phase.
And you just keep playing in the draw phase, and
yeah.
they just the draw doesn't do anything. And then you have hands where you have to normal something, go Delicious, and then you get drawn, and then you just feel really bad about your life. So yeah, 2 plump, obviously 2. I'd probably even play 2 if Kashira gets hit. Like, this just making the second one comes up so much, not being forced to use the trap just to get an Xyz monster back.
Oh, okay.
And you have the space. Yeah, 2 Noir.
Yep.
Second one comes up a lot. Again, you don't need to use a trap to shuffle it back.
Did you kind of sit on that a few times?
Not really, no. Noir, I did like Noir.
It sounds more like you kind of treated like a Zeus deck a bit today.
Not necessarily. It's just a matter of like a lot of people are playing outs to Noir because like the card is like the thing that people know.
It demands
about Purrely.
attention, yeah.
It's also like the one thing that people are aware of in Purrely.
Yeah.
Like when you mention Purrely, everybody's like, just kaiju it. Yeah, I mean like people are like kaiju, Kurakaras, stuff that outs Noir.
Yep.
So like camping on Noir is kind of dangerous, especially post side. So yeah, you just use the detaches and then they just minus so much that you just win from there. So yeah, 2/2 again comes up. 2 beauty. This is a cash compensation. So beauty is definitely the best one against cash.
Yeah.
Because
the negate effect is really good.
Yeah. So when you summon white Purrely and use the effect, you reveal 3, you add.
Yep.
And then if they know you have a beauty left, they have to Fenrir you at that point.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, you can go white Purrely effect, summon beauty, negate the Fenrir, and they just lose. So that alone, like them having to like not the ability to just banish the 1, means that they can't just like ignore the white Purrely. They have to banish it. Yeah, and then 1 happiness. I wanted. Like if I had an infinite extra deck, I would play 2 of this. This actually came up a few times. This is just the OTK machine. Any monster below 2000 attack is game if they have an attack position. Yeah, you just search 4 times each time you have their attack, and then you're like 2029, 32, 35, and that's game because, yeah, damage. OTK is random game, so it's solo carried me into top good. Marince's player had like the unaffected big chick on the field, and also like negated a spell by special summoning it as an attack position monster attack monster. And it was like, yeah, your monster is 2000. I'm just gonna attach delicious to this 2900. Punch. That's game. Yeah, just ends games, and yeah, that's what you play. Awesome. Speaking of ending games, big happiness. So oftentimes you end up like forcing with the engine and then going into Zeus.
Okay.
Problem is obviously Zeus clears the field, also your own field.
Yeah.
And has only 3000s. At some point you need to win because you can't just camp on a Zeus. At some point they're just gonna draw an Imperm or draw a Kaiju or draw something that outs the Zeus and then you just lose. So you need to really end the game. And this just ends the game. This plus Delicious is like, you just go like plump and attach and make this and punch and that plus Zeus and then game. So awesome. Yeah, just kills on empty boards. So that's all the engine cards. I like the archetypal cards.
Okay.
Then we have Zeus packages. Nightingale, obviously the best one.
Yeah. 2 level
opponent
1s.
Has, yes, 2 level 1s. Opponent has attack position monsters. You don't care. Punch.
Yep.
And then you make Zeus.
Yeah, it swings.
No, yeah. Obviously Downer.
And Downer
obviously is in here.
Space, so it's good.
Yes. The other one, level 1 we played for Zeus, is because people are greedy.
Yep.
And people want to save their spot removal until you actually commit the effects.
Okay.
So run Future. Won me a game today against Cash, where they're just greedy with the Eraser Banish. They don't want to use it. They want to wait for me to use Lily effect.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, overlay Purrely and Lily into Future, punch, and just hard make this just right away.
Yeah.
And then it's only a Zeus for 3 materials, but it still clears the board.
Yeah.
And then you can still play afterwards. So yeah, Future is great. Also adds Biguska. So when you summon this under Biguska, it doesn't get Twister defense position.
Okay.
So you can make, if you draw super heavy, they're gonna pass on Biguska.
Yeah.
And then you can make Fucha and just punch the Biguska. And then you can downer Zeus and then Zeus for 4. And then since they're going first, they're deciding for going first. They're not like once they turn off their own Biguska, they're not gonna play 3 Zeusing them twice. Is the thought process, which means we didn't need to play cards like the Agent Link or the Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, which we were on before.
Oh yeah.
And instead we just already play this to like punish greedy Noir plays and punish greedy Riser plays, and this also doubles his biggest card. Awesome. Speaking of Zeus, 1 Zeus, 2 Zeus.
Yeah.
So we used to be in 1 for a long time and used to play the Codebreaker. Thing is, this is probably your best option into Cash. Now you can always assume that they're going to get confused by all of the Purrely monsters and just banish Noir, which happened a lot. Because people is like, again, Noir is the one card people know, so they're like, oh, banish this, even though there's 2. But yeah.
There's a lot of ones to consider, I think. I would probably hit Plum.
Yeah, but like banish 1 of Zeus is just still really good. So you play 2. Also, Zeus comes up so much in this game in random game states, so having 2 just felt really good.
Yeah.
Just
go Zeus attack, put Zeus on top, yeah.
Yeah. Or they out the first Zeus and you can still just make the second one because all of your cards make Zeus for 4.
Nice.
And then we have the 2 random slots. Relinquish Animal.
Yep.
Now, of course, making Future to add Biguska is awkward. You can just rely on your opponent putting the Biguska in the middle.
Yeah, just pray they do. Yeah.
And if they do, it's just free. This just generally outs a lot of random things. Like people just randomly put their Fenrirs and their Sprite Reds under the zone because this just doesn't see that much play. And it's just like, they negate your Purrely. They're still level 1 body. You make this, you force another negate. If this actually ends up resolving, it gives you 2 cards that you can send off separately for Pretty Memory to attach. Just feels really good. I mean, as the format evolves, people are going to start playing around it more, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. If Purrely becomes really popular, it's going to be like, okay, where's the Animism?
Yeah. But like some decks can play around it. Like for example, Sprite players when they try to IP Griffin you, the Griffin has to point
somewhere.
If they have to put in the EMZ, then it has to point up, and you just anima. Out it. And then finally, to make boards slightly more resilient, Ensemble Robin.
Yep.
It's just
bounce.
Double
bounce.
2 level 1 monsters, not once per turn. When they special summon something, you bounce it. You make it a long set Noir, so even if they cut you Noir and they give you the add back, you still have some kind of disruption.
Yeah.
It never really came up today. Like the one game I made it, I got even late.
It's a good backup plan, except for evening, obviously.
The one time I made it, I got even late. Otherwise, I never got to make it just because of how many Handtraps were in the room today. Usually, you were like leap, plump, or like Noir pass boards. But if you end up in a format where lots of power spells are running around again or breakers are running around again, then this feels really good.
Yeah.
So yep, that's 15 in the extra.
Cool. And then went to the side.
Yep.
I'm still very impressed with the Daruma Cannon. I think it's such a good idea.
Yep. So in the side deck, so usually we go second, as I said, but we still wanted cards that can go first to get combo decks against super heavy is scary.
Yeah.
And idea being that you side for going first once, so even though Saki cards can be played around, nobody's going to side in back or removal against Purrely.
Yeah.
Pretty summon limit.
Nice. Yeah.
They use one summon to kaiju your guy. They use another summon, you flip this, you win the game.
Yep.
Happiness easily OTKs under summon limit, and if you can't OTK under summon limit, you use the effect of Pretty to send this off and then attach something, and then you kill them.
Oh
yeah, this is just essentially the second turn skip card. So we experimented with the different dimension ground as well, but it doesn't match into cash as well. And against cash, we have to go first, kind of.
Yeah.
DD ground does fuck all against cash, and yeah, summon limit is just they summon two dudes, and you're like. Sure. Unicorn, summon Fenrir in defense position, sure.
Yeah, I think as long as the floodgate that you have doesn't impact you, it's pretty good. And that doesn't seem to, like you said, it's just happiness, right?
It's the one Saki 3 elf that just randomly wins you games, which is a popular thing this format. Then super heavy is really scary, and this breaks the super heavy board.
Nice.
This deck does not need its normal summon.
Doesn't need it.
I mean, you play 5, but you don't need any of them to play. So you just fear mode them, and then you can play.
Yep.
Hopefully, I mean they have the 3 Omni Negates and the 1 Appaloosa. Unless they're the kind of player that goes for Spell Counselor post side, in which case this clears the entire board. The Spell Counselor board is only Regulus Appaloosa Spell Counselor, and this just tribute over the entire thing, play the game, and you win. Once again, I think we somewhat overcompensated for super heavy, but the deck is really scary. I'm assuming it just kind of like got held down by all of the floodgates in the room, and like
it got held down by Droll, for sure.
I mean, the thing is like Droll into Baguska. Not many decks play under Baguska, but like just going second with the deck is suffering if like everybody's on like Tikaboos and Gozens, and yeah, it's just.
I think something like Scare Clock Ashira does by definition. So
yeah. So we wanted we pulled the emergency lever against super heavy.
Cool, I like it.
Playing around under Shifter as Purrely feels really awkward.
I would say so, yeah.
The thing is, lots of decks struggle even more to play under Shifter. And if you manage to turn skip then when they're sided for going first and you just manage to stake a Zeus for 4, you kind of still win the game.
Yeah.
So you Shifter super heavy and then you Zeus for 4 and you play. Or you, I shifted a Marinsis player today, felt pretty good, skipped his turn, and then I couldn't make this because Plump is too small, but still, the theory I think is fine. We used to be, the thing is Mathmech also really scary, I didn't play any today, but Mathmech also is super scary this format. And this also really good against Mathmech. This feels like good against like everything except cash, kind of. It's just a matter of like, does it hurt you more than it hurts them? I also cited these in actually going second in the mirror sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
because if they're not able
so
to play it just
the deck can play really poorly going first on a Shifter.
Yep.
Going second it's okay because you always have the option of Zeus. And Zeus,
Yeah, sure.
So a 3 Shifter. This used to be Bestials, which kind of does the same job against Mathmech. If Cash was not in the format, this would probably be Shufflers. So for a really long time I was siding
like
Ishizu Shufflers.
That's nice, I like that.
Feels really good to see them going first, and then just like it's just even if they evenly your board, even if they kaiju your guy, the Shuffler is practically uninteractable with. That's in the graveyard, they're not getting rid of that easily. And it's just like it just sits there. But I ended up not going for it because it feels really bad against Cash. We're real scared of Cash, and it's also just a going first card, and like if you're going first, you're probably fine anyway. So I ended up not playing it, but it's definitely a thing to consider if the format is like less diverse at some point. Then we don't want to lose to Floodgates. Floodgate's scary.
So you back for removal?
Or? No, removal is boring. They're not going to flip in the
Denko.
phase. You just normal summon Denko. The deck doesn't need a normal summon, and nobody's going to flip skill drain in the draw phase against this deck because not going to expect Denko.
Nobody's going to expect Denko.
Yeah, and then you just normal summon Denko and you win the game.
Yeah. The only one you could see is maybe Anti-Spell.
Yeah, Anti-Spell might get flipped.
I'd flip that pretty quick.
Anti-Spell probably gets flipped in the draw phase.
Yeah.
That one Denko doesn't help against, but like Tiki-Boos and stuff, they want you to stick a fairy on the board, and then they want a Tiki-Boo on the effect. Normal summon Denko just turns it off. Just also kind of good against Lab. you can side it in going first against trap tricks, and if you see it, it kind of FTKs them.
Nice.
Because the whole tier is dead, and then you just remove their 1 normal summon and they can't play. And then we had 3 more slots. So deck building in this format really scary. Lots of things that you want to be afraid of, and they need different kinds of outs. So I needed to find cards that were like had wide coverage.
Sure.
So I ended up with 2 Cosmics.
Fair.
So going first, you can usually side the 3 summon limits and the 2 Cosmics in exchange for usually the Herald of the Abyss and Gamma package.
Sure.
Because Gamma package isn't that good going first. Like, it's good against like Droll in specific hands, but really only like My Friend and Gamma together is good, because otherwise you always have monster in field anyway.
Yep.
So you side the Gammas out, you side the 1's Power Spell out, and you go 3 summon limit, 2 Cosmics in a lot of matchups, like Cash, super heavy. And this just feels good into so many matchups going first and second.
Yeah.
Like, super heavy, you just Cosmic the Scale, winning. Cosmic the Birth feels really good. Cosmic the My Friend feels really good. So yeah, Cosmic, and then obviously going second into anything back row where you just play this. Outs, anti-spell, like you said. Outs, random TK boost, random skill drains, random ship. Just Chain Cosmic, just such a good card.
Of course.
Not playing Twin Twister because
You've enough discards. I know,
discards discards, but not for effect. So the Dark Holes won't trigger.
Yeah.
If you played like Dangerous or something, then maybe it's something we considered.
You could consider it.
Problem is Nessie doesn't search itself, and then you don't have enough good Dangers to make it worth it. Yeah, the Cosmic is just. Yeah,
I think it's necessary evil. It does the job.
It also in Mirror, it doesn't lose to Happy. We probably overestimated how popular the Mirror would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cosmic just feels
While
really good.
Cashier is still around, this deck is
just
hard time.
It just trades 1 for 1 against anything, feels really good. And on the 15th card, 1 Grapha.
That is wild.
Again, Floodgate scary.
Just make a big guy.
No,
Why
not
not?
really. It's more a matter of this is a discard pop,
Oh yeah, that too.
right?
Search off Silva, yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is you play 3 Snow, 1 Brow.
That's the song.
You can just switch the 1 Brow for 1 Grapha, and then you play 4 copies of Grapha.
Yeah.
And the idea is just, this
But
plays,
then if
for
you
example,
draw it, you can just normal bounce.
Yeah, if you draw it, you can just pitch it and then pop a Floodgate.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, this felt really good. For example, Destroy It. Anything that you want to play through.
Yep.
Which again, this deck does a lot. You just activate, summon Purrely, pitch this, and you're like, chaining 1 this, pop something, chaining 2 Purrely.
Yep.
This pop red for pop carrot, for example, and then chaining 2 Purrely. The carrot's not going to do anything, that's gone. And then if they chain red to your Purrely, then suddenly all your power spells are alive, and you're playing and they're not.
Cool.
So yeah, 1 Grapha feels really good. I think this is really good.
I've not seen that one before, so that's actually really. Oh, I've seen the card, obviously, but not Purrely. How are your matchups?
I played a lot of random things.
You mentioned Marincess.
Yeah, so I lost in round 3, I want to say. And then I lost to Cash, which was nothing that could be done about it. Like,
fair.
I drew a hand that loses to Droll, and he drolled me.
Yeah.
And then, just had the nuts. Game 2, similar. I mean, the future did its job. It added the board, but I just lost to opponent having the cards and me not having the cards. So I think game 3 was not good about it. Then I lost. I drew in round 5, also against Cash.
Okay.
In time, I had 2 bodies on the field. I went from my extra deck to find the assembled Nightingale, and the clock ticked before I could find the assembled Nightingale. I attack with Summoned Skull and Maximilian Pegasus as time is up. So yeah, that was my last on my draw. So I was on the bubble for the last 3 rounds, and playing somewhat random ship at that point. So
in the last 3 rounds, wild, right?
I found a Tearlaments player that wasn't like 60 card Dragunity pile tier.
Oh, I know that one. I know him. Yeah, it's Adam.
I made Noir and just stopped the play, and then I just won the game. Game
tier.
And game 2 makes it board. I just fear mode him and OTK. It's over like 10 minutes. And then I had round 7 was Marincess.
Yep.
Where Shifter was really good. Field School was really good, and I could just OTK because the field spell prevented him from using wave to make the unaffected.
Yep.
So I can just OTK with a 2000 attack.
Just can't target, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't target any of my monsters, so wave isn't doing anything,
Yep.
and the big guy being unaffected doesn't matter. And round 8 was trap tricks, where Daruma Cannon put in so much work.
Because it's Sensera, yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So essentially, it's like normal summon Mantis, add Director Campa, go Sarah,
Yep.
and then just flip the Daruma. And essentially, at that point, they can chain Director Campa, but then it just gets booked, doesn't do anything. Or they cannot chain it, then Sarah gets sent. And then you just play the game. And Zeus is a very good card to trap tricks. Yeah. Top 16, I played the Mirror. Going first, I actually drew 4 cards. First time today, and just 1 from there because, yeah, no 6 charge no R if your opponent doesn't drop R spells. It's just really good.
Yeah.
I
mean, if you get to New War, I think you're in game 1 for sure. You're winning.
Yeah. And yeah, game 2 was, yeah, pretty much the reverse. Opponent draws 4 and just has more than I do. And then game 3, I made him go first, and he sided for going second. And yep, that was the end of the game.
There you go.
Zeus is a card. And
That's the aim, right? Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, top 8 I played Sprite.
Yep.
Yeah, forced him to go again. Game 3, forced him to go first. I think it's correct. Sphere mode is just so good in the Sprite. Graph is just so good in the Sprite board. You usually can play through the Sprite board. But my hand was like double Frost Tactics. And I sided up the Herald of the Abyss, so the Frost wasn't even live.
Oh, dang.
And yeah, like 1 memory, and then you just... I still could like kind of play because I ended up like... It ended up in a weird reduced game state because I still got to Zeus and cleared the board, but he had a normal summon. So he got to play.
Nice.
And then... Yeah, at the end I thrusted for the second tactics to draw 2 again. And I had a snow in hand. I needed any memory and then I could have played the game. But I didn't see any memories and yeah, that is how I do be sometimes. So yeah, lots of random matchups.
Any shoutouts? Looks like you were building the deck with a fair few people.
Yeah, shoutouts to my testing group, who hopefully are also going to perform well at Austrian. That's in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And yeah, shoutouts to the people that lent me ultimate rares. So
I saw the brow was gorgeous.
That was an ultimate brow. I think there's a pretty Zeus in there. Yeah.
Very
shoutouts
cool.
to those people. Shoutouts to Kahal for making me come here. I mentioned that I didn't have an action to play yet because I'm judging all the ones, and
I see.
It was like Irish now.
Go to the Irish one, yeah.
Come to Ireland, and I was like,
well, hopefully we're all friendly with you, and I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, it's a really nice country. So I was like, sounds fun, and I ended up booking a flight and coming here, and yeah, worked really well.
Wild choice, coming into Dunleary, but I mean, we actually had a really nice day, so the weather was great.
Yep.
Thanks very much for your time.
Yep. Thank you.
Cheers.